So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and create a new quote. You can use an appointment. You can start a quote from the side toolbar. And essentially what we do is first enter the name of a company or a user. Maybe you're quoting for a home. So let's say that I'm working on Hernandez. All right, and when I do this, I'm searching the database. When I search the database, for those of you who are connected to an accounting system through a WeSuite integration, we will search both WeSuite and the accounting database at the same time in case this is an existing customer. I can tell that this isn't because it's in black and white. If I go ahead and pick Hernandez Liron, this is the actual customer. Here's a site, and here's a billing. So they're in my database. These are the three pieces of information I need for the quote. And if I go ahead and search on Liron, I'm going to find him in my database. So there he is. I'm creating the quote just for him. And I could set this up before I ever get on site. You'll see buttons like Next for those who have an iPad. This helps you so that you don't have to scroll with an iPad. I use a Microsoft Surface Pro. I love it because I can actually just use my hands to scroll on the screen. The next thing we'll do is we're going to pick a package that we're selling. So in this case, I'm going to use the Basic Security System package, and I'm going to create that proposal. Now, you can do this in front of your customer because what we're seeing is the base installation price, $149.95, is the price of the package, and it includes one of these items, 5 of these, and 1 of these. So anything with a green check mark and the quantity is included for this price. If I'm going to add any other items, or if I'm going to use any optional items, I have 2 choices. I can add the quantity here by just clicking and adding a quantity. So I could just say, okay, I want 1 of these, and it's going to come in at the full retail price when I save it. So now I've added $24.63. My other option is to go ahead and click on a button here where I could add, say, 5 of these, and at the same time I can even say, you know, which location. So I can say 3 at downstairs windows, 2 at rear, and 1 upstairs, whatever it is. So what you're doing is you're basically laying this out for, say, an installation team that might come thereafter. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and update this to the sale. And you would continue adding any options, that kind of thing, making any notes you'd like to. You can also enter notes here on the right-hand side. So you have a lot of flexibility in terms of what you're doing and where you're entering information. Okay, let's say that my quote now is at $790. I probably want to include a little bit of recurring revenue. And again, with a package type sale, that RMR can already be built in, does not have to be. So in your organization, you may not have any built-in RMR. You may have built-in like I do, and then you can add other optional RMR. And it's important. I can see that my default position is 36 months, 3 years. So when I'm entering anything additional, I want to enter literally the number of years in months, all right? And by the way, I could have decreased that if I wanted it. So I could have done 12 or 24, all right? And you see when I save it, now my additional monthly RMR is there as well. I'm going to go to the General tab, and the General tab is going to sum up what this sale is all about. So when I look at it, I can see that my sale is now $807.79, and my RMR is $27.95. This first go-round, I'm going to pretend that I'm standing with my client, and we're ready to go, and they say, look, this sounds great. It's what I want, but I had budgeted $750. I don't have $807. So there is an option, a feature built in here that if you were to take that lower amount, you could enter it, $750, and save it. And you're basically seeing that you came down almost $60. In the background, I have a formula that says every $20 I come down, go up in RMR $1. So what this does is basically say, I'm not discounting this. I'm not taking money away from the company. I am getting a gain back on the RMR. So it's a very useful feature that you may want to take advantage of, okay? And that's just programmed in the background. If the customer says, fine, that looks great. Now in this case too, my package was already coming in with tax. If that's not the way you operate, don't worry about it. We can hide this and you won't see any of that. At this point, what I can do is go right to signing. I have another option though too. We're going to talk a little bit just in this first job about business forms. Business forms are a way to take away that paper that a lot of people carry around to take down, for instance, emergency contact information. So we'll start there. We've created a form. We've taken away the paper. And in the form, we basically can record a contact's name, phone, email, password, other contact information, responding agencies. What's neat about the form is that I can take this information and I can actually populate other contract documents if I wanted to with this information, all right? Now, once I enter whatever it is that I'm entering, I can save it. This is now permanently stored in the WeSuite database, so this is part of your database. This is very unique. The other thing to know about these forms is that later on, if we wanted to, we could email the form. We'll email a link to our installer, and they can come in and fill out the entire zone list. And again, you know, don't worry about if this form has all the information that you need. We actually make these for you, so they're specific to each organization. So when you email a form later on to a client or to an installer, something like that, once they enter their information and hit save, it's automatically in the database. They don't have to even email it back. All right, let's go ahead and now sign. So we got the information we needed from our client, and now they're ready to sign contracts. So we went to the Documents tab, and we're going right to the Contracts tab. For those of you familiar with WeEstimate, you see that you can even create your quotes here too. But this, we want to go right for the sale here. So there's two things you can do here. Some of you may have certain options that are required on your contract documents. For instance, the installation date. So let's say we're going to install this on Friday. I can update that and save it. So that's now updated onto the contract document. I may also have some custom options, and again, this depends on your contract. So really envision this as something that's specific to each of you that we will work with. So with these check boxes, when I check them, dynamically we're going to check them on the contract document. And then I just close that. Now I can now view the document. So this is also a pretty cool thing. I can actually pull this document up and preview it so that I can see with the customer, hey, you know, this is what this looks like, this is what you're signing, you know, and take a look at it before they sign. That often makes people just feel more comfortable. They had a shot at looking at it. Whether or not you're changing anything, probably not, but, you know, they got to take a look at it. Another thing that's important here to look at is that in with that package came the 2 contracts that were required. So I didn't have to do anything as a salesperson. All I'm doing is just going through, you know, adding the parts that I needed. Now the subscriber's ready to sign. They click subscriber, and this is where our first integration is with eOriginal. So now the contracts that are for this sale are being loaded. We see that they have 2 documents waiting for signature. If you've got lots of places to sign in a document, we'll also be able to say you've got 2 documents and 23 places you need to sign, whatever it is. The person can review their signature and their initials. They could draw or upload if they wanted to. But the big thing here is they're going to read this and consent to sign. Once they consent, they can begin the process. And it's very straightforward. The documents are loaded. They can actually click through and review any part of the documents that they'd like to. They can back out. So if they don't want to sign, all of a sudden they got cold feet, you're going to save them, of course. They could back out. And they can come back into the signing room anytime they want to. But our goal is to get them to sign right now, so they simply click through and apply their signature. And then the next document's going to present. So when I look at these documents, what's happened is we've configured one transaction. Okay, this is one signing transaction, but I can have as many documents in that transaction as I need. The customer then sees that they've signed everything and they're getting a notification at their email address. By the way, they can come in and get a copy of this anytime they need to after this is done. So they'll still have a link to the sign room. What you're going to see next is that you're going to get confirmation that now you see those just turned green check marks, so the subscriber has signed. And while we're here, I want to point out one other thing. If you're familiar with WeEstimate, you know that our job numbers look like this. So this job, 8086-1-0, is existing in WeEstimate. So the entire system is connected together, and you didn't have to do anything except create this quote. Now as a dealer, I'm going in and I'm signing. So I'm the sales rep. In my organization, that's the way we roll. The sales rep can go ahead and sign. If in your organization it's different, you can have the workflow process be that the next person is notified. They can come in, sign the document, and once all the signatures are complete, two things happen. Number one, you're happy because you just made a sale. Number two, we actually see this as a one job. And so in QuoteAnywhere and WeEstimate, this is considered a one sale. And then for anybody, again, on the accounting side that needs to have the workflow automatically move into the accounting, that is completed just the way you do it today in WeEstimate. So we're going to get confirmation here that the dealer is signed, and that completes a sale.